Greetings program.
Cute.
Hello and welcome to Woodshed Reviews, where we look at films old and new, good and bad. On today's show, we're looking at Tron Ares.
Ready?
So we're probably coming at Tron Ares from slightly different angles. I was quite a fan of Tron growing up as my childhood favourite. I really like Tron Legacy, whereas you hadn't seen either film until a couple of years ago. We reviewed them here.
Yeah.
The idea of going into a computer / video game, you know, a 10-year-old me was just like, this is this is amazing.
I can imagine that, because when I watched it I said, why did I not see this when I was 10? I would have loved it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it was 28 years between the first two films. So we get this second sequel.
15 years later.
Yeah.
Half the time almost.
I know, bit too soon perhaps.
maybe.
Yeah.
I do feel like I need to see it again, and I do kind of want to see it again. But first thought, it's almost like a self-reviewing film title if you swap the last two letters.
Yeah, I was not too keen on this film either. I think it gets a couple of fundamental things wrong about Tron. As a Tron fan, the first two films are about going into this world, experiences otherworldly, alien kind of thing. And I think both, particularly the first film, really looks kind of like nothing else, you know.
It's so different, and they're kind of amazing worlds created. They feel really different. There's a danger there almost. You're not quite sure how it's going to play out. Whereas in this new film, it brings it into the real world.
What if the people from the programs and the light cycles and the recognizers from Tron came into the real world, which is maybe fine in concept.
Whereas this just opened everything up, like they're trying to create a Tron universe or something.
I think ultimately that is the only reason that they're trying to do this, because no one's clamouring for a sequel to this. Both films kind of flew under the radar. They're kind of considered cult kind of films now, but it's a very small audience for that. And my second criticism of it is that being the case, people who are fans of Tron Legacy want a continuation of that story.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting, because I didn't know much going in. I was hoping to see Sam Flynn, a bit more of him. And
well, we did see him. I saw a still photo of him for about 3 seconds.
that's right, yeah.
Look at this photograph.
And we've got kind of warring tech companies. Encom, which is now headed by Eve Kim. Doesn't really explain who she is or where she came from or anything. She's just like the new CEO. And Dillinger are the rival company, which are spawned from the original villain, played by David Warner in the original film. So they're kind of warring kind of corporations who are trying to find, what is it called? Permanence code.
Yeah, because anything brought into the real world from Tron only lasts, 20 odd minutes before it...
29 minutes very specifically before it disintegrates, dereses or something like that. And yeah, we're kind of right into it right away, where it's like we've got this magical MacGuffin, which is maybe part of Tron sort of lore or something like that, but it's like this 3D printer thing that can just magic anything out of nothing.
Yeah, I like that idea, but there needed to be more to it, like, you know, consuming some sort of energy or
raw materials and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then it could have been more believable.
Well, folks, we're not going there. They are coming here.
It kind of completely ignores the story of Tron Legacy, which ends with sort of Cora, who's like she is like a sort of like living life form from the Tron world who is able to come in to the real world.
ISOs. Isomorphic algorithms.
A whole new life form.
How did they evolve? You know, that would be more kind of like a goal, and it would tie into the Legacy film, but it's like, no, we'll just completely ignore that until the end, where there's a slight little bit of sequel baiting.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, maybe they plan to go back to that story at some point.
Well, it felt like that ending felt like to me, it was like, hey guys, hey Tron fans, I know that we haven't given you the story that you wanted, but stick with us.
Yeah.
And we'll do that in the next film in about, 23 years or something like that. A main character titular character anyway, Ares himself, played by Jared Leto. He is a master control program, harks back to the first film, and they're trying to use him to find the permanence code. I guess on paper he goes through a journey of becoming kind of self-aware, finding his humanity and turning on his creator, because he realises that the Dillinger character in this, played by Evan Peters, is quite clearly a very tropey kind of bad guy at this point.
He's biblically strong, lightning fast, supremely intelligent.
So that's the main kind of arc, I guess. Ares kind of finding his humanity and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's very kind of quickly done. I didn't really feel like the beats that were there to explain how he forms an alliance with Eve, who he has to kill or retrieve the code from her and effectively kill her, and then he kind of doesn't want to do that because he has a connection with her, but it's never really established.
Sure, because I thought Eve Kim was quite an interesting character. She was quite likeable, and there was quite a nice chase scene, I think, early on, with Ares and Athena chasing her down. That stuff was really good. There's some tension there, and I was enjoying it at this point. She goes into the Tron world, and I thought at that point, okay, that's good, we're going to be in the Tron world for the rest of the film. Yeah. But it wasn't the case. There's a lot of jumping back and forth.
I mean, that's the main... I mean, apart from, like, we see where Ares is sort of, like, created and trained and stuff, and it's just in this room, and it's... Because we're in the Dillinger, I guess the Dillinger grid, it's red neon and fire, and the architecture looks a little more... Not cluttered, but a little more going on with it and stuff. It's not quite as clean as, like, the NCOM. But I kind of thought, okay, maybe this will be interesting. We're seeing a different grid. What is it like in the Dillinger sort of corporation? Is there different civilizations, different factions, the life and all that kind of stuff, but we don't see any of that.
Hang on!
There's a cameo by Jeff Bridges in it. What do you think?
So this was in the grid from the first film, am I right?
I think Ares has to go in to that world that he created back then. So it's effectively a sort of something similar to the original Tron aesthetic. And I thought it was done quite well. Obviously you could see they'd done it more modern techniques, and the colour palette was a little less garish and a little nicer on the eye and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which it's fine. It's a nice kind of middle ground, I thought.
Yeah.
But it's also like they've got like that kind of harking back to, hey, remember that big crack in the wall from the original Tron? It's still there, and it's like, okay, fair enough. Didn't think I'd be getting nostalgic for that. But here we are.
Three to goal, 2 and 1. I'm getting out of here right now, and you guys are invited. Got it.
Jeff Bridges, you can see he's noticeably older than he was in Tron. I mean, it's 15 years, and he must be in his 70s now or something like that. So obviously, he's older. But I kind of thought, because they did de-age him in Tron Legacy, not very effectively, but we've got 15 years of technological progress since then. Yeah. I think you can do it quite well these days. It's kind of acceptable,
Unless he ages in the Tron world.
I guess he ages in the Tron world, because that's what they went with. Maybe they just didn't want to put too much effort into it. That's kind of what it felt like a little bit.
A malfunctioning program that wants to live. Why is that?
It's just a feeling.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It was nice seeing a little bit of the old Tron world again.
Yeah, that was cool. This wasn't a terribly exciting film for me. After the initial kind of chase, the action didn't do too much for me. I felt like it was sending me to sleep. This one needed stripped back a lot, I think. More focus, less characters maybe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting things. I like the, bringing stuff into the real world for military use. I thought they were going to make more of that.
Yeah.
There's some good action, some good chase scenes, seeing the motorcycles on the roads.
It would have been okay if that had been like one section in the real world and something like that, and then would win. But because then it's like the motorcycles come into the real world, then the recognizer comes into the real world. And it feels like,
It's too much, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah, because I like the motorcycles. If that was a bigger scene, and that was like a big, the main action set piece, that could have been interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just, more tension.
Yeah, I think for me, just more involvement in the characters and feeling that kind of like, okay, I feel something there. Because like I felt something for Sam and Kevin, Flynn and Cora in the previous film. And even in the film before that, which is, I mean, I'm not going to argue that it's not a perfect film or anything. But even then, I was kind of like a bit more invested in the journey and stuff. And just the adventure and going into that world and seeing it through their eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
All that kind of magic was just kind of gone, and maybe that's because I'm too old for that stuff now. But having said that, 15 years ago, Tron Legacy, that felt like such an upgrade visually and stuff like that from the previous film, and very different but very cool aesthetics for both films. Whereas this one just feels like a slight iteration. It's like, going from like a PlayStation 4 to a PlayStation 4 Pro. It's like, okay, I'm squinting. Maybe I can see an improvement there, but I'm not sure.
That's where we're at now.
Yeah.
Because there's no going back.
Well, we do give a rating to Tron Arse. Tron Ares.
As Father Jack would say.
2. Will I give it a half? I think I'm just going to stick with 2 just now, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, I can understand 2. I might give it 2.5 just now, but it'll probably go lower once I see it again.
Yeah. Okay, so that is Tron Ares. A bit of a disappointment for us at the Woodshed, but maybe you feel differently. Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next episode.
End of line.